Rah! Pumped, come on, we can do it. Do you love motivation? I love motivation. I love watching motivational videos. I love seeing Hugh Jackman and his passion and drive in Wolverine. Some of it's a bit scary, but that's a guy pretty committed, pretty passionate, right? But motivation, if you want change, if you want to do something, I believe, and what I know from what I've seen, that motivation isn't enough. And while you may love motivation and going to motivational events, after we've done some jumping around, what are things that we can do to create some real change? If you want something, if you want a goal, if you want to increase your clients, you want to increase your sales revenue, you want to change something, fix something, these are real things that after we've done a lot of motivation and then jumping around, there's some steps that I see so often in what I listen to. Very quickly, I listen to a lot of motivational stuff, primarily in the morning, and they tell you, and if I hear this, you got to work 24/7, you got to get up at 3 a.m., you got to go and push and But what they don't do is they don't share a lot of the steps and strategies that after you've done some jumping around and pushed yourself, what are the things that we can do and the steps that we can take to create real change? What are they? Well, this is something that I'm really passionate about. This is part of my Track Client to Grow Sales series. And one of the things that I wanted to share is what are the steps that can allow you to create real change, real results this year, next year, and beyond. If you want to know, let's listen in. Okay, so I've got some notes because there's quite a few things that I want to share with you, because I'm sure you want the learning and the steps to know how to create real change, get goals, get results. Okay, so first thing is, while it may seem obvious, it's all well and good to listen to motivational stuff, but I don't know about you, but you often see maybe in yourself and people around that, people often are on autopilot because the brain loves sameness. It loves to stay in the same thing that it's now become masterful at, even if it's not working for us. We very often need to, especially if we want to create change, have a courageous wake-up call and kind of let's wake up and make some decisions around the things that are not working for us. We don't need to have all the answers yet, and we may still feel stuck in fear or confusion or uncertainty, but making the decision to take a look and do the things that we need to do to create the change and follow the steps. Okay, the next thing is seek counsel. Because whether it is your sales manager, whether it is your boss, whether it's a coach, a counselor, a mentor, very often, and I've just been studying a lot of material around cognitive behavioral therapy, and one of the things that the brain does is it will, because of wanting sameness, will always go to the things that it knows, even to help us make decisions, even if those things don't give us a result. I was doing some work earlier this year, or last year, excuse me, and this company was in a lot of trouble, and they kept doing a lot of the same things that they'd been doing for once upon a time that did work, but now don't work. And unfortunately, they were so stuck in that and not wanting to change and take the counseling that the business went down. But other people that I've worked with and have followed the steps and the plan and seeking counsel get a change going, and it's an exciting thing to see. And one more thing, to seek counsel. I've been watching the series called The Crown, and to listen to what the Queen says whenever she is needing to make an important decision or look at what's going on, she seeks counsel. She gets professional advice. Now, we don't all have government and governors, but seeking counsel from the right people to help us be encouraged, get a different perspective, look at the things that we're thinking and doing that are not serving us. Because the other thing around being humans is we have a whole lot of things that we do and operate from a whole lot of places that keep us stuck And while we're listening to all this motivational stuff, if we're running these patterns and not seeking counsel to take a look at them and get a different perspective so we can start making some different decisions, we can stay stuck. For example, focusing on the worst possible outcome. So often, I know myself, I've experienced, and friends and people that I've worked with in business, is things are quite, sometimes in a tough place, but their mind goes to the worst possible outcome that hasn't even happened, and there's no real facts, but it can bring us down and make things very confusing and hard to have clarity. So through getting counseling and support and that guidance, for whoever it is, to get us out of that so we can feel better, is going to help us start moving in a better direction to create change. The thinking, it's always been this way and it's always going to be this way, which is called all or nothing thinking. Seeking counsel and encouragement to get a different perspective on how things can change and what can we do to improve our results and take different action and believe in ourselves more to go and take better steps. Just don't have the knowledge. Sometimes we just don't know how to do certain things that can mean going through to make the changes. I take my clients through a process, and if you're in my Attract Clients Grow Sales series, this process of taking people through their business success foundations, their marketing, their sales, their service and onboarding and team management, a lot of the times people in all roles, business owners, senior managers, directors, they don't know a lot of these things, or they're not doing a lot of these things. And when they start to, the results start to change, and we start to get the goals and achieve the targets that we want. But if we don't know that by having the courage and determination to seek counsel, people can stay stuck. Why bother? It won't work anyway. Again, a limiting belief. And through counseling and coaching or management, to look at that and go, well, is that really true? And did we do it all the way through? Because I've heard this, we tried that, Trevor. But then when you have a look at it, they might have done a campaign, let's say on Facebook, but they never did the follow-up calls. They never had a meeting. They never knew how to enroll them. So there was a lot of elements missing, which was why the process didn't work. So we need to have a look at that, because that is limited, sloppy thinking. That is not necessarily true, but we need to seek counsel on that. Being stuck so deep in, being so stuck in an area of not knowing what to do. We've always done it this way. We're in this world, the economy is the way it is, retail's not working, whatever it is. If we're that stuck in it, more than ever, we need good management, good counseling that's encouraging from a perspective of knowing what to do and what to say to help people create change, or even hear businesses that are doing well, people that are doing well, but they want to do better. How can we? What can we do? Where do we want to go, and how can we start to make that happen is an exciting proposition. Okay, so as part of this, putting the thinking concerns, our ideas, under the radar, which are those points that we talked about, to see what's really fact, what is really the truth, what do we know, what don't we know, and really get a good plan going, or our current plan improved. Because again, very often people are just very often winging it. And even in business, people do the same thing every day, but very often it's like, well, what's our plan? What are we dealing with? Whether it's employees or whether it's yourself, sales, marketing, what's working? What's not working anymore? What do we need to change? What do we need to do? And start getting that into a plan and process and chipping away at it. This is not easy stuff to do, guys. I know it. And I know that so many of you that are in, say, corporate management roles and leadership roles, I know you're employed to do this. And this is very often the hard, heavy lifting on a day-to-day basis to keep all of us on track and keep us moving in the right direction and doing the things that are going to get us the result, which again, can mean constantly reviewing and changing, more so than ever in our business environment, because so many things are being disrupted and changing. So more than ever, we need to be looking at our plan and understanding all the elements of our business and what we're doing. Okay, and then of course, taking action. And I want to just touch on this and say taking the right action, because I met a very good friend of mine and colleague and client the other day, and he needed to make sales calls. He needed to have meetings. He needed to follow the process of effectively meeting and consulting and enrolling clients. And he had gone way off track because he had actually, I feel, been seeking the incorrect counseling. He was spending time meditating, which is a nice thing, don't get me wrong. I love meditating. However, there are some times where we don't meditate, we actually need to do some things that are going to give us the results. And so we need to make sure that we need to be taking the right action on a day-to-day basis to give us the result. One more metaphor: if you want to be an Olympic runner, you don't swim all day, you run all day, right? So what are the right actions? And again, getting clarity on what are the right actions to take. And very often they're the things that we don't necessarily like doing that much. But if we do those little things, do those things a little bit every day, we get to eat the elephant, as they say, one bite at a time. And this, number 6, being held on course. Most people, me included, we have these great intentions, but after the motivation has worn off, what happens? We end up going back to the things that we know, the things that we do, because they're familiar, even if they're not working. Having the courage and the commitment and the determination to stay held on course and investing in that, whether it's with a manager, whether it's with a consultant or a coach or a trainer or a mentor or a counselor, being held on course, especially if we're wanting change. Because to create change is very uncomfortable for the brain until we become consciously competent. The next thing is then start to experience the change and the wins. That's right. Then through this process, we can continue or start to experience feeling better, or starting to increase our results, change our results, whatever it is that we have decided as part of our plan that we actually want to go and get motivated to change, do, become, fix, whatever that is, while we listen to motivational material. Because the motivational material keeps us excited and passionate. And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of great motivational stuff that I love listening to on YouTube, and they've got great messages, and there's also a lot of great education. But I just wanted to, in my goal and intention to help business people, entrepreneurs, professionals, executives, and anyone who really want to improve their businesses, improve their careers, to have simple, effective steps that they can implement. That is more than just a whole lot of rah-rah. Rah-rah is great. I love it. Getting pumped up, getting angry, getting on, but having some steps that we can continually apply to get the result. Now, here's the closing challenge. 7 out of 10 people will never do this. You know why? Because really it's about 3% that will really take things on, apply it, study it way after the motivations ended, after the jumping around, after the seminar on the weekend, and then you're kind of like back to normal. Having the courage and the commitment to do the hard things is where the gold is, where the joy and the passion is, as I'm sure that you have experienced yourself being a 3%er, as I call it. So if you are one of those 3%ers and you are committed, you've got these steps. If I can help in any way, email me at info@trevorrussell.com.au. I've got a process that I can take you through to help you get your change, your goals, your sales, your client growth, whatever it is that you want. But it does take courage. It's going to take dealing with your fear. Oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, all that stuff. But if you're willing to get past that, we can take a look at that. Also too, you're probably too busy to read a book, but if you want all this knowledge and a whole lot of other great stuff in the book here, the links below that you can do that. Thank you very much for watching. Motivation's great. I love it. Keep listening to it. There's great stuff. And at the same time, remember, you can do, be, and have all that you desire, but follow the steps. Follow the plan. This stuff works. I know you've probably experienced it yourself if you're watching this far because you're already a high achiever. I know for me, when I forget this, I wander off. When I come back, things start to change and improve. And I was just so excited because for me at this point, I've been studying a lot of this and doing this, and it's helping me achieve much better results in my business and get to work with great people. Maybe I'm working with you if you're watching this. And if I'm not, maybe we will one day. But even if we don't, I wish you every success. And remember, stay motivated, work the plan, go get whatever it is that you want to get. I'm Trevor Russell. Speak to you very soon.